A Swift Kick in the Ass, episode 110.
All big changes start with a swift kick in the ass. Join the journey of lifelong friends, John Curran and Tom Stewart, as they make conventional thought bend over and take...
Life is challenging and difficult. No one gets out alive. Time to suck it up, Buttercup. Get ready for a monster-sized boot aimed to help you get traction on personal change and get living. I am John Curran, your host. Join me as I share my journey, exploring the forces that motivate us to change and help us get through whatever life throws at us. A swift kick in the ass. Life on your terms. Welcome to another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass. This is your host, John Curran, and today's episode, what to do to get your ass there. Now, I think we can all relate to times in our life when what we've been trying just isn't working. We're trying to get somewhere, we're trying to accomplish some type of goal, but we keep encountering barriers. We encounter challenges. Perhaps we are testing our patience and we're not proceeding as fast as we'd like. So our progress maybe is slow. Or we're stuck. We're not making any progress at all. No matter what, I think a great analogy is driving a car. We're on a path from point A to point B. We're on the road, but we get to a point in our journey where we have to take a different path. And, I think this is a lot more than just keeping moving. This is making sure that your movement is actually leading you somewhere, putting you on the right path, making sure that you are on the right path to begin with, that you're heading in the right direction. Now, maybe you're traveling without a destination. You're wandering, and you're frustrated because you're not necessarily where you want to be. Well, have you ever thought that you don't have anywhere really in mind that you want to be? And that, just attaching a goal, attaching some purpose to what you're trying to accomplish, maybe that can get you moving and help you better understand what you need to do. Because as we take each step, on this path, no matter what path we're on, with each step, another page is turned, another part of our story unfolds, and we don't realize it, but day in and day out, we are given choices to make, and they might seem very small and inconsequential, but they do really add up into something. Kind of reminded of 40-Year-Old Virgin, and if you have kids listening to this, you might want to plug their ears. I'll just try not to use the F-bomb, but the 40-Year-Old Virgin has a great quote, and the character Cal is saying, he's like, life is like, planting a seed. First you poke the hole in the ground, and you plant the seed, and you nurture the seed, and you grow it into a plant, and then you screw the plant. Now he's talking about a cannabis plant and raising it and smoking it. But, you hopefully get the point. You plant a seed, you nurture it, and you intend to harvest it. You intend to reap the rewards of your work. And sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Maybe it's hard to get the results that you're looking for, but you keep trying the same thing over and over, and you're expecting different results. And that, my friend, is the clear definition of insanity, where you are doing the same thing over and over, but you're expecting different results. So think about what you're doing and how you are going about what you are trying to accomplish. Again, sometimes movement, just the simple act of moving, isn't enough. What does it matter if you're moving if you're just spinning your wheels? You're not getting anywhere. You're just in this constant cycle, and you want something better, but you can't seem to get there. That's what this episode is really all about. So, as you all know, I'm taking Taekwondo right now with my son, and I'm still a white belt. He's a black belt, and what's funny, because I've got my 10-year-old son, saying, "Yo, white belt, make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich." And of course he giggles along after he says that, because my son's not like that. He's not bossy. He's just joking around. But, so I'm doing Taekwondo, and I'm in my 50s. I'm trying to stretch. I'm trying to get in better shape. And I have had to change my approach to stretching, because what I'm learning is it's not so much really about the pain. Now, granted, there are you don't really want to be in pain if you're stretching. If you are, you're probably pushing too hard, too quick, and you're going to injure yourself. So you need to be careful with that. But, when you're stretching, and you're trying to increase your flexibility, you want to stretch, but then you want to release, and then try to stretch again. I had been really holding the position and holding the stretch for a long time, and feeling that burn, feeling that stretch, feeling the pain, and not really getting anywhere. I'm getting a lot more traction now when I when I stretch, release, and then repeat. And I've learned some tricks too to kind of loosen things up and get a better stretch quicker with less pain. To me, that is the true definition of a pivot, is recognizing that what you're doing isn't necessarily working as it should. You're not making the progress that you really want. So you need to shift things up, shake things up, and look at it a little bit differently, take a different approach to see if you can get the traction that you're looking for. And so with stretching, I'm able to do that. It's sometimes we get on this path and we put ourselves through unnecessary torment or pain, and it's just not necessary. I think sometimes we feel like it should be, but again, I think this is all about questioning your intent and questioning what you're trying to do. And what really matters to me most of the time is the end result and what I'm looking to try to achieve. But I've also learned to appreciate the journey, because it's right here and right now is the only time that we can take any type of action. Our past is in the past. We can't change it. We can learn from it, but we can't change it. We can think about our future, but we don't really know what our future holds. Nor can we take action at this time, because we're not yet in the future. We're here. We're here now. And this is the time to take action. So it's your choice. You have to decide on how you want to deal with things and decide whether or not you want to move forward or not. But I want you to think about how you live your life on this show and the terms that you live with, and had to evaluate those terms and how to change them if necessary. Now, I think I told you all that I went on a hike on the Appalachian Trail. I went on an overnight hike. I think it was roughly about 21 miles, and over 2 days. And when I was hiking, I was carrying about 45 pounds on my back. And I'd never done overnight hiking. I've used backpacks before and such, in high school. I mean, not high school, Boy Scouts. But it's been a long time. And it was tough. So what I learned along that hike is really how persistent I am, and I really am like a burro in many regards. I am a pack mule, I guess. I just keep navigating this rough terrain, and I just keep going, and I'm persistent. But on this hike, I had to really put my meditation into practice, and I used breathing techniques to help me manage the pain and of the hike. Hikes are strenuous. It can be painful, especially over a long distance. Your body starts to kind of break down. You start to feel muscles you never felt before. And I use the breathing technique to kind of breathe through some of this pain and adjust and keep going. Now, this enabled me to push my limits. And I know from working out with weights that it's really important to know what your limits are, because it's good to push yourself, but there has to be some type of balance and some type of reality. We can all think that we're supermen, but the truth of the matter is that we're human and that we have our limits, and we need to understand those limits. Now, as I'm looking through my notes here, I'm thinking too about how this applies to relationships. And that, maybe your relationship isn't where it is where you want it to be. You want to make some type of movement. You want to get your ass moving towards a better relationship. Well, that's not just up to you. That's up to the person that you're in a relationship with as well. And so they have to be willing to want the same thing. But I think oftentimes when we're negotiating that type of term in our life, we're often come up to the table with what we're not willing to do. And I'd like you to think about what you are willing to do, what you are bringing to the table, and start thinking about what you can do rather than what you won't do or can't do. Because if you can't do it or you won't do it, why are you wasting your time thinking about it? Think about the things you will do. Think about the things that will get you to where you want to go the quickest way possible. Start living your life. I've talked about this on this show before. Take your change in increments, in small doses, one step at a time. Start spending your time doing the things that you want and love to do. 2 minutes spent doing something that you love is going to improve your life. It's going to make you happier. And as you learn more about what you're trying to do, as the story unfolds, you will find yourself spending more and more time. So what starts off as you only have a minute of time to spend, a minute or two to spend on it, you'll find that if you try to do that every day, you'll build up your time over time, and you'll be doing, you'll be an expert at it before you even know it. And I think back about this show. I think just to compare to this show, Tommy and I started about 7 years ago doing this show, and we weren't trying to sell anything. We wanted to talk about personal change. We wanted to talk about our journey, and we wanted to share our journey of personal change. We wanted an audience. That's what we set out to do, to build an audience. And Tommy's gone. but we have an audience now. And has been heard. We have been heard around the world. And I absolutely love that. And I'm so, so thankful for all of you, all of our listeners. You all are a reminder that, we had an audience. Probably Tommy and I had an audience, a much bigger audience than we ever knew. And that's okay. And the reason why I bring this up is because there are things going on around us that we are not aware of. We can't be aware of. I mean, there's so many things happening in our lives. It's easy to be overwhelmed, and therefore our brains are only capable of handling so much. Part of the swift kick in the ass path is to open up your mind and to disrupt conventional belief. Stop thinking like everyone else. Start thinking for yourself. Start taking control of the terms of your life and negotiate better terms so that you live a happier, more productive life, and that you get more out of life, and you're able to squeeze just every drop of life out of whatever has been given to you. This show is all about how to do that. So from wherever you are right now, that's point A. And wherever you want to go, that's point B. And there are countless ways to get there. No way is really right or wrong. They're just different paths that lead to the same place. On one path, maybe you're getting strawberries. On the other path, you're getting blueberries. Which is the better path? Who knows? Maybe you like blueberries and can't stand strawberries. Maybe you love them both. Maybe you're having a hard time deciding. Change your path. Think about it. This is your choice, and there's many different ways to get to where you want to go. Why stick with something that isn't working? Stop. I think some of these preconceived notions about what to expect and where we should be and how to keep on course, we try to seek the easiest way, question where you go, and, look at how you're getting there, because the joy is in the journey and the process that we follow. How we go about what we're trying to accomplish does matter. Persistence and patience. When you have a plan, it must always include a way to know if you're making progress towards that goal. Otherwise, how will you know? And, being persistent and patient without a plan is just really being lazy, because you're not trying to do anything. Which, again, is fine. Maybe there's no need to do anything. Maybe you just need to sit back. But think about what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you do it, and when you do it. All these things, all these factors matter in your ability to be successful at what you're doing. Back when I was, up to my eyeballs in debt, I had tried for many, many years and was unsuccessful at managing my money, and this contributed to the amount of debt that my wife and I had. It got to a point to where it was a 1,000-pound gorilla on our back. It impacted our life dearly, and that's when I made the choice to say, I can't do anymore. I can't live like this anymore. It has to change. And I made a decision to pivot and to look at what I was doing, to know what I was up against, and knowing why I was doing it. I figured out how to do it along the way. Each step I took, I learned something. And yeah, I made some mistakes, but that was so long ago now, and we are so much on a different path. Now, granted, challenges in life is always going to be challenging. And once we complete one challenge, another one will seem to pop up. That's just the way life is. Expect it to happen, and it's okay. These challenges make our life better. If it wasn't a concern, we wouldn't think about it. We wouldn't see it as a challenge. We just let it go. So, when we were up against that debt, it was pure hell. So I understand spinning your wheels, not getting anywhere, being frustrated. Take a step back, take a deep breath, and figure out what you're up against. Also recognize that we have a choice to do things or to not do things. And not doing something is also an action. We can choose not to do something. Think about why. Think about how. But as I think about the debt, I didn't really try to bother myself about why I got there or how I got there. But why I needed to take the action to change my life, and how I was going to do that. Because, when we're in any situation, figuring out how we get there, it can have some relevance and it can have some value. Or it could be just a total waste of time, and because you're not going to be able to change any of that. Keep figuring out a way to move forward, how to get out of it, and how to make life better. Try your breathing techniques. That is focusing on the basics. We all just need to take a deep breath and breathe. To live, we have to breathe. Without oxygen, we don't live very long. And realize that, there are some things that we're going to just have to live with. And learning something like a breathing technique can help you live with the burden, especially when we acknowledge the burden and then we embrace it. We embrace the suck. We can shift, we can pivot, we can take a different approach to what we're trying to do to get ourselves moving. And as we evaluate our situation, think about the various options that you have. Think about the various situations that you're trying to create and do a SWOT analysis. Look at the strength, the weakness, the opportunity, and the threat of each situation that you're trying to create. What I have found is that as I look at these various scenarios that I'm trying to create and break it down into strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat, oftentimes the decisions that I found so difficult become very easy and become no-brainers. Just like looking at the credit cards. Look at how much interest you are paying each and every month on your debt to service that debt. It's no wonder I couldn't keep up. It was no wonder I wasn't making a dent, because the math was against me. So I made a choice, and I lived with it, and I persisted, and we made it through, and that debt is gone. Never coming back, never going to lose my life like that again. But the choice is yours, and it may actually be easier than you think. So I think that's about it for this episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass. I want to thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope that you take away my thoughts on where I am in my life and can help apply them to yours to help renegotiate the terms of your life and to live a better life. That is what all this is about. If I can help one person live a better life, I'm happy. That makes me happy. So I will leave you with a quote. And it's from Rocky Balboa, the character Rocky Balboa. It ain't how hard you hit. It's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. It's about how much you can take and keep moving forward. You know what? Having almost every big accomplishment in my life has taken an extreme amount of persistence and dedication and commitment to the challenge. I worked my way through school. It was extremely difficult to work full-time and go to school full-time. I did it. I made it. And with each challenge that I successfully completed, it gave me more confidence to take on bigger and better challenges. I love my life. It's not perfect. If you notice, I'm maybe not doing as many episodes because I really of this podcast is because I simply don't have time. But it's very important to me to keep this up and to keep moving. I might not be moving so fast. Maybe I'm not moving as fast and putting out as much content as you would like. And if that's true, I'd like to hear it. But for right now, I want to focus on quality. And I hope that you get something out of this podcast. I know I sure do. So thank you for sharing this journey with me. Please share your journey with me. Write me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. Friend me on Facebook, through a Swift Kick in the Ass, or on Twitter. And, I would just love to hear from you. Until then, keep moving forward. Keep kicking ass. And I'll talk to you soon. Join you on the next stop on my journey. Peace. This marks the end of another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass, placing it directly in the can. As much as I like to talk, even I have my limits. It's time to go. Catch me on the next show. For better or worse, whether you like us or not, please leave comments wherever you get your podcasts. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Visit our home on the interweb. I think you can leave me a voicemail there. You can also email me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. It's been my extreme pleasure. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you got your ass moving. Until then, until the next time, I'm out of here. Peace.